You know, I expected cowboys in this set to be gunslinging, but I did not expect the level of equipment in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Hey everyone, my name is DJ. This is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and I want to talk about the insane new equipment from the new set Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Lost Jite is a single mana for a legendary artifact equipment with Equip 1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, put a charge counter on Lost Jite. Remove a counter from Lost Jite, choose one, untap target land, target creature can't block this turn, or put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. This is a callback to the classic overpowered equipment Umezawa's Jite, but that piece of equipment doesn't get a ton of play in Commander. I believe Lost Jite will immediately overtake it because it is so good. Not only is the mana cost and equip cost so reasonable, it'll get on a creature so quickly, but I believe it has better modes. Untap target land is great because it allows this little equipment to be mana ramp on future turns. You know, be aggressive, get in, get some counters on it, and then use that as a Lotus Petal or Dark Ritual or even a Black Lotus on a turn where the mana really matters. Target creature can't block this turn is a great way to keep enabling the Jite. Of course, you can blow a bunch of counters to make a whole team unblockable, get in for a huge punch of damage, but then I can also see this as just getting one creature out of the way so it opens up lines of attack so you can then replenish the charge counter on the Jite. And then finally, that +1/+1 counter is so good because I can imagine Jite being equipped to a creature early on and then be immediately outclassed as your opponents play, 4 and 5 drops. But if every single turn you're adding a +1/+1 counter, then the Jite creature is always relevant, it's always threatening, and it can get past your opponent's blockers. And if it can't get past the blockers, you can always target creature can't block. That second mode, it's so good. The verdict on this is that the mana cost and the low equip cost alone, combined with untapping target lands, means I'm going to be playing this so often. This right here is a new top 10 piece of equipment in Commander. Assimilation Aegis is 1 white/blue for an artifact equipment with Equip 2. Whenever the Aegis enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target creature until it leaves the battlefield. Whenever the Aegis becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remains attached to it, that creature becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with the Aegis. It's removal on a piece of equipment. That's so cool and interesting in corner case. And then obviously we can equip up another creature and boop, 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 it becomes a crazy copy of it. The color requirements of this card are going to prevent it from going into most equipment decks, but Galia, Kindler of Hope, is going to be amazing. And this has the options for potential blowouts. Like imagine Sigarda's 8 on the battlefield, you flash in this removal spell to take out a creature, it immediately attaches to one of your creatures on the battlefield, becoming the creature you just killed, enabling even more blocks. Like I can see good stuff going on with this card, but the verdict is that it's going to be narrow because the colors make it so. Also, if you've built a deck that's very susceptible towards artifact destruction blowing you out, do you really want to also have your removal spells subject to that same weakness? Especially when Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile exist. Next is Lotus Ring. Uh-oh, Lotus in the name, this is going to be good. Lotus Ring is 3 mana for an artifact equipment with Equip 3. Indestructible. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance, and tap, sacrifice this creature, add 3 mana of any one color. Okay, first things first. Saving up mana for a big future turn is powerful. I talked about that with the Lost Jite, and it remains powerful. But if we're just talking about the mana production of Lotus Ring, remember, it's 3 to get on the battlefield, and then 3 for every equip just to get 3 back. Like, you're not generating mana with this unless you're cheating. And that being said, like cheating on equip costs is one of the things that equipment style decks do the best. If we look at the high synergy cards in equipment decks, we've got things like Pure Steel Paladin, cheats equip costs, Sigarda's Aid, Forge Anew, Inventory Management, Fighter Class. Like there's even more. There's tons of ways to just get equipment onto creatures. And so if you're not paying 6 mana to get 3 mana back, that's where this card becomes playable. And so it's naturally going to fit into many different equipment themes. If you're looking for the infinite mana combo, it's Fervent Champion and Cole the Forge Master. The Fervent Champion allows that reduced equip cost, and the Forge Master will get you back the Sacrifice Fervent Champion. So there you go. You got some infinite mana to play, I don't know, a Fireball or even more equipment. Actually, the situation that I like is that it gives the creature vigilance and buffs it. So you just keep going with your equipment strategy. You keep smashing in, but then you're always holding up 3 mana for a Teferi's Protection, just something to protect your whole strategy. And then yeah, if the game goes long, infinite mana kill someone is another way to end the game and start the next one. Thieves Bandana is 2 mana for an artifact equipment with equip 1. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of their library, then exile it face down. For as long as it remains exiled, you may play it, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. First off, I really like that it says play not cast. That means that you can hit lands from your opponents and play it. It would be a big problem if about half the cards off my opponent's library were whiffs. But we as commanders love equipment that draws cards. Sword of Fire and Ice, Mask of Memory, Rogue's Gloves. And so this is a pretty good rate to be drawing a card. The downside is that you're drawing your opponent's deck. And so naturally it's not going to synergize with the stuff that you're doing. But it is kind of fun to steal a counterspell and then no one expects the Boros deck to counter something. That's fun. Or what I'm really excited about is when you scheming Symmetry opponent and then steal what they searched for. Or you instant speed Noxious Revival something at the top and then steal it for yourself. Those are the corner case scenarios that I'm super excited for. The average case scenario though is that this is fun card draw, maybe not super good card draw. The Key to the Vault is 1 in a blue for a legendary artifact equipment with equip 2 in a blue. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Dig deep and cast something for free? This feels like building your own Narset Enlightened Master. This is just free spells. This has got to be super good. But come on, getting a hit in with this has got to be super telegraphed. It has the potential, like Narset, to just win the game in a single combat phase. But as soon as you start setting this up, isn't someone just going to stop you? Maybe this is another instance where Sigarda's Aid, where we have flash and equip, will be really important. But in that shell, are you just digging to cast more equipment? In which case, the threat level of Key to the Vault is way more than its actual threat, which is not kind of a place you want to be at the commander table. Everyone's afraid and treating you like you're going to cast a time stretch, when really, all you want to do is cheat in your Lexodon Warhammer. And then another piece of iconic equipment, we've got a Sword of Wealth and Power. 3 mana for an artifact equipment, equip 2. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from instants and from sorceries. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So you need a creature to equip, and you need to be able to deal combat damage, but you need enough spells for this to be able to trigger and be powerful. Spells Matter combat deck sounds fun, and these exist, like Balmor Battle Mage Captain, Dalikos Crafter of Wonders, Abria Riptide Rogue, Narset Enlightened Exile, etc. This doesn't have to copy the most epic spell in your repertoire to be really, really good. Just copying a Ponder or a removal spell, well, those simple cards can really execute a game plan. Keep your hand full, keep the board clear, keep your creatures attacking, and getting more great triggers. The protection on this is really good because a lot of removal are instants and sorceries. But remember, dealing combat damage and getting that trigger is really critical, and sometimes on the other swords, protection from a color helps you get that damage through because it prevents blocks. I like this sword a lot. Kind of like I like Sword of Truth and Justice and Sword of Hearth and Home. They're swords that are so good in very specific decks. I think that just not creating a generically good sword is great for Commander because you want the right tool for the right deck. So don't put this in any old deck, build around it, and it's going to do great. Hey, did you know that I'm a Magic the Gathering ambassador? And this episode is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. Thank you so much, Wizards. Outlaws of Thunder Junction is a super fun thematic set, and these equipment are no different. They're flavorful, they're unique, and I just want to play with them. If you want to play Commander, go ahead and head on down to your local game store. There are events all the time, and you're going to have a fun time playing with your friends or making new ones. Thanks so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all really soon. Bye-bye.